I've never done this sort of presentation before, so yeah, wish me luck. Let's see what happens. Oh no, I'll put it on charging, but don't you worry about it. I bought this machine 8 years ago from Stockholm, but when I was in the US, I from the Apple store, I got its battery replaced, I got its hard drive replaced. Like it has an old body with new pieces. So yeah, it has been pretty, and I don't want to change it because I am now habitual of its keyboard. You know, since I bought it from Stockholm, it has a different keyboard. If you come here, maybe you can take a look. It has special characteristics that are in Swedish language. You see this.
Keyboard different.
Yeah, it's Swedish. All right, let's get started. Does anyone want me to go over this slide again? Online students, you can see it's the feminist analysis of popular culture. Does anyone want me to go over this again? Online students, you couldn't understand, maybe you couldn't
Yes, ma'am,
participate.
please.
You want me to?
Yes, please just give us a brief overview of this slide.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I have right now 3 in-person students with me, and I'll ask one of them to help me explain this to you. Ji, in last class we were talking about the feminist analysis of popular culture, and we talked about this idea that Tanya Modleski, she came with this view that actually we need to think about popular culture in terms of categories. This was in the second slide. I'll go change the slide. So yeah, she said that we need to think about these in terms of categories, because women usually are held responsible for harmful effects of popular culture, for harmful effects of mass culture. However, we can understand them better in the form of categories. And I'll take you to this last slide that clearly says that the majority women are actually at consumption end. These are men who are at production end. However, women are at consumption end. So production, consumption, men work, women actually get free time, leisure time. Men use their intellect because these are men who engage in intellectual activities. Women, by contrast, are all about emotions, since they are consuming, and it's just it's all about their emotions. Men, these are men who take part in activity. By activity, she meant production. So the content is essentially made by men to be consumed by women, who are considered to be passive audience. So passive are those people who do not take part in the activity, who are only consumers. Similarly, men are writing and women are reading. So this is what she meant. She said that the whole mass culture actually is made up of these categories, where we can clearly see examples. And she is referring to majority. This is not to say that women absolutely are not at production end. In Pakistan, I believe Sultana Siddiqui is a very good example of she owns Hum TV. She's the um, she's spearheading a channel which is famous for its drama content, for its entertainment content. So, but here, what I'm trying to say is that Tanya Modleski is actually referring to majority. Whenever it comes about ideas of feminism, I would say that I believe, this is my personal opinion, and you do not have to agree with me. You can you can uh, you can have a different opinion. My opinion personally is that all educated, civilized people are feminist because they really consider gender equality. However, with that, personally, this is my personal opinion. Personally, I also do not like the idea of male bashing. I'm not in favor of radical feminism. By now, you all know what radical feminism is. Uh, so, what is male bashing? Male bashing, to bash someone is to criticize someone, to oppose someone in a really, with a really hard tone. So that is male bashing. I believe that God, and again, these are my personal views. I believe that these different genders, even differences in human creation, in terms of skin color, in terms of hair color, in terms of our eye colors, in terms of variations in our heights, they actually reflect variety of God's creation. They actually reflected beauty of variety in God's creation. So why don't we talk about mutual coexistence? That's what I believe. Whenever it, so personally, I'm not in favor of a really hardcore sort of feminism that goes toward male bashing. I believe that men too suffer from oppression, from marginalization. The idea, the inherent, why sometimes I read content that is related to feminism, because I am a kind of scholar who is always interested in power, in the study of power, in the use and abuse of power. For this very reason, I got in the business of studying Orientalism. For my doctoral thesis, I studied Orientalism from Pakistani point of view. For my master's thesis, when I did my MPhil from Punjab University, I studied the impact of Disney animated movies. And I study effects of Disney animated movies on children. Here again, the idea of power is involved. And you would be surprised to know that in my study, I found out that there is a famous toy manufacturing company. Its name is Mattel, Mattel, I think, Mattel. So Mattel has a contract with Disney. Whenever Disney would release a movie, Mattel would make toys related to movie characters, and you will find those toys in the market. And of course, children would go after them, or children would insist their parents to get them some the toys relevant to characters in the movies. So you see, there is this whole idea of capturing the market first by movies, and then first by your media products, media content, and then by products. So there is this combination of Disney and Mattel. Here is this powerful giant company that makes movies, and here is this again, there is this idea of power, how power is being used to increase, to expand your stronghold, how power is being used to increase your influence. And I was in the US when they released this famous Disney movie Moana. Has anyone seen that? Moana is a very famous Disney movie. So soon after,
Yes, ma'am.
तुला को पता है. So soon after Moana was released, they also made cartoon. Sorry, not cartoons. They also made toys. There was like there were Moana dolls, um, and also accessories of her clothing, like the kind of clothing that Moana would wear so that little girls can play. Uh, but when I was doing my MPhil studies, of course, Moana wasn't released at that time. At that time, Disney Barbie movies were very popular. Not Barbie, sorry, Barbie is another production. But um, all these movies like Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, all of these movies were very popular. And if you go to Variety Bookshop, if you go to even Iqbal Book Corner and Anis Book Corner, or I mean, these are not specifically toy shops, these are for books. However, if you go to any famous toy shop, you will always find, they sell toys too, by the way. You will find toys related to these cartoon characters. And take a look at their manufacturing company. The manufacturing company is Mattel, the same company that has contract with Disney, that you make movies and we make toys related toys. So that is again the idea of power. I am always interested in the studying of power. That interests me. That is my area of interest. And for this very reason, sometimes I get engaged in the study of feminism as well. Because whenever there is abuse of power, women may suffer, weak people may suffer because of abuse of power. This includes women. This includes uh, people from a specific ethnicity. This includes race as well. People suffer because of racist attitudes. This includes minorities. This also includes children. And in Pakistan, there are also animals. I mean, this is a country I think who would champion in animal abuse. All of these, that is why they interest me. However, I am not a feminist scholar. I do not do feminism. Like in my studies, I mean, in academia, I'm not a scholar of feminism. I don't do that. That's not my area. So what I told you were my personal views. For today, I assign you a homework and I ask you to come prepared and talk about some feminist scholars, only scholars, women who have name in academia, who are known in academia for their feminist work. Let me tell you another thing. Postmodernism and feminism, they are still developing. Postmodernism and feminism are still developing. They are sort of recent schools of thought. And feminism was essentially started by female scholars. Okay, this is something that I already told you in last class. All right, now discussion about your favorite feminist scholars. Not favorite, sorry, your research. Talk about your research. जी बच्चे, anyone from online students? अच्छा बच्चे, एक और बात, when I upload notes on Moodle, so जो lectures में मैंने पढ़ाया है, it's sufficient for you if you focus only on that. You will find psychoanalysis. When we study feminism, sometimes we cannot do it without psychoanalysis. तो वो मैंने आपको नहीं करवाया, ठीक है? Because I felt like that would be too much for you. Similarly, feminism related to ideology. I wanted to do that semiology as well. Semiology क्या होती है? Semiotics. शाबाश, the study of symbols. मैंने वो भी आपको नहीं करवाया because that is not possible without studying Roland Barthes first. Roland Barthes was a famous scholar. Did I tell you that Saucer, who was a Swiss linguist, he came up with the idea of signifier and signified. The idea was later taken up by Roland Barthes, and he came up with the terms denotation, connotation. That idea was further taken up by Stuart Hall. Yes, so yeah, very good. Stuart Hall, encoding shabash. So Stuart Hall later took it to encoding, decoding. Now you see how scholars build upon each other's work. It's really interesting to see how they all build, how they are building on, like, begins from Saucer, then comes Roland Barthes, then comes Stuart Hall. And I haven't touched Roland Barthes because that would be, I mean, 4 months was not enough time. Also, this is an undergrad level course. So like I said, the concepts, I admit, the concepts that we discussed in this course, the readings that you got, they may seem difficult at your age. And please do not blame your language skills for that. They are difficult for everyone. They are difficult for native speakers too. Because right here we are dealing with theory, hardcore theory. we are dealing with philosophy. And what does philosophy do? Philosophy is the study of human beings. Uh, so we are dealing with this, not human beings actually, how humans live, how that kind of thing. So we are dealing with theory, and I understand that the majority students have problem with that, and this has to do, partly this has to do with their language skills too. However, uh, this course purpose was to exclusively familiarize you with these concepts. Let me tell you, those of you who would apply for higher studies, uh, uh, I don't know, be it MPhil or a master's abroad, or even doctoral studies, this course is very, very helpful for that. This course is essentially meant for those students. Okay, because here you have a base. Uh, it will help you for your admission application. It will also help you for providing a base for your higher studies. Okay? I admit that the course content was a little too much, but again, please do not be daunted. Do not feel overwhelmed, or and I have tried my best to make it interesting for you by giving examples and all that. Okay. Now, would anyone like to share examples? Names, feminist scholars. लास्ट क्लास में मैंने जूडिथ बटलर का नाम लिया था. शी इज अ वेरी फेमस, आई थिंक शी इज फेमस फॉर हर बुक, इट्स नेम इज द सेकंड सेक्स. आई थिंक आई read. Oh, Simone de Beauvoir, sorry then. Yeah, Simone de Beauvoir is another very famous feminist. Judith Butler is then famous for, I am forgetting the name of her famous book. Usama Bacha, you raise your hand. Go ahead.
Ma'am, can we talk about Pakistani scholars?
Yes, for sure.
Ma'am, there was a feminist scholar, Hamida Riaz. I think she died recently.
Haan, Hamida Riaz is a very good example. She was a poet. She wasn't
Yes, ma'am. Writer.
She wasn't an academic figure per se. She is mainly famous for her poetry, Hamida Riaz. So I prefer if you talk about academic figures like academia. जैसे सिमन डे ब्यूआर है, फहमीदा, सॉरी, जूडिथ बटलर है, एनीवन? जी जी बच्चे. A very good example, Sarah Ahmed. Yes, she was a Pakistani, like she has Pakistani origin. However, her family moved to UK when she was little, and I'm not sure if she has dual nationality, but she is British. So she is a very good scholar, a very, very good scholar. And she's also famous for her book Queer Phenomenology, where she has discussed Orientalism in a very artistic way. She's very famous. Sara Ahmed is a very good discovery. Shabash. I'm very happy. Who? That sounds interesting. However, I'm not familiar. I haven't, I mean, I haven't read about her, or I do not know her name. But this does sound interesting. So she is, tell me her name one more time. Is she Russian? Her name sounds Russian. Yeah, but I'll definitely look her up. I am not familiar with this. Uh, Anyone else from online students or from GWT? ये भी अच्छा है. Very good. Yeah, yeah, that sounds interesting. Did you do some such, Faha or Erha? You didn't. Anyone else from the online students, or should I start sharing my information with you? चलें, ठीक है. अच्छा, I'm going to give you names, some names, but I'll only tell you those feminist scholars who are particularly famous in the field of communication and media studies. Okay? And Ji Hassan Bache, you raise your hand.
So, ma'am, I had a couple of names to mention here. So the first one was Eleanor Roosevelt. She was the first lady to, and an active feminist, from 1935 to 1962. She wrote a newspaper column named My Day, and she was an active first lady. Also became the first UN delegate from US. Similarly, Michelle Obama was considered an active feminist for her feminism approach, and she also was the first lady to go for undergraduate studies during his Barack Obama's reign in 2009 for her undergraduate studies in Ivy League University. And Malala, we all know Malala Yousafzai. She's also considered to be an active feminist.
Shabash. I'm very hustled that you did your research. This explains your seriousness and your motivation for learning. So you gave very good examples.
I also had a question. Why is it so that most of the most active feminists were born back in 1940s, and they were really active between 1960s to 1970s? I don't know why is that. According to my research, most of the feminists were born in 1940s. The well-known ones, and they were really active in between 1960s to 70s.
Very good, Shabash. Hassan, good question. Please write your question in the chat box so that I don't forget to answer it. Okay? I'll get to this later. But it's asking why is it that most feminists started becoming popular in 60s and 70s, because I haven't seen. My understanding, just to tell you briefly, my understanding is that this was the time period when media was spreading, like means of media was spreading. And their works, whatever these scholars were doing, their works were the dissemination of information became easier and faster. That's my understanding. However, please write it in the chat box and we'll discuss it one more time. Now, you brought many good names, Michelle Obama, Malala Yousafzai, but I wanted only academic scholars, like feminists in academia. By the way, Michelle Obama is an academic figure. She was associate dean in a university, and she has authored a book as well. However, just let's talk about only academic figures that are famous in our field, okay? Because that's our primary concern. So if you have your devices, you can search them up side by side. The first name that I'm going to give you is Julia Wood. All right. I assume that some of you will get into the business of thesis writing, and some of you will be looking for admission in higher studies, and there you may get engaged in feminist scholarship. For that, you must be familiar with these names. Julia Wood, have you searched her up? So Julia Wood, I think if you want to understand the idea of feminism, especially at an undergrad level or a basic graduate level course. Her book, she's famous for her book, I have forgotten the title, but she's a very good scholar. And she is a scholar who studies feminism in media context. Okay? Julia Wood, a very good example. The next example that I wanted to share with you is Laura Mulvey. Julia Wood, Laura Mulvey, Laura, Laura Mulvey, Mulvey, Laura Mulvey. She is a British feminist, also a theorist, and she's of our interest because most of her feminist theories actually discuss women portrayal in films and cinema. Laura Mulvey is very famous for her theories and for her works, and she's a fun to read. If you are like during your summer break, or if you are looking for some really good material, good content to read, I suggest Laura Mulvey. Laura Mulvey is a very good feminist scholar. Uh, Again, another scholar who has studied uh, 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 who has studied feminism in the context of communication, media. All right. Other than that, there are many other like Luce Regret, Diane Davis. There are tons of Avital Ronal. Maybe you can search at Avital Ronal as well. Avital Ronal. It's Avitall, actually single L. Avitall Ronell. Avital Ronal. Avital Ronal is another very famous. She is a contemporary scholar, by the way. So is Laura Mulvey. Okay. So Avital Ronal, I would tell you contemporary scholars who are easy to. Julia Wood is very easy to read. Avital Ronal is another example. However, Avital's work is not directly related to media. Her work is related to mostly philosophy, psychoanalysis, and all that. But she's a very good scholar, Avital Ronal. I once attended her lecture. Like she was invited at my university. She came for a guest lecture at my university, and she's really good. Now let's talk about a really feminist scholar from our part of the world, which means subcontinent. How many of you are familiar with the name Gayatri Spivak? Spivak, Spivak. Online students, for you, I'll write in the chat box. Gayatri, Gayatri Spivak. She's an Indian scholar. So sorry, I wrote the message only to. जी बच्चे, Gayatri Spivak. Earlier I wrote names of Avital. अच्छा मेरे सिर्फ 10 मिनट रह गए मीटिंग के. Avital Ronal. And before that I wrote the name of Laura Mulvey. And before that I wrote the name Julia Wood. जब भी आपको time मिले, you will literally enjoy reading them. Just read them like fun readings, not for your course. You know what? Sometimes it happens when you are reading something that, well, exams are around the corner and I have to read this, and you feel pressure to read. Then I am a kind of person, I don't like reading like that. I don't like that kind of reading. I would read the content in which I am really, really interested in reading. So that is for these are for you. But still, my aim is to familiarize you with these names. Now let's talk about Spivak. Gayatri Spivak is an Indian scholar from Calcutta, India. She is currently teaching at Columbia University. She was a great friend of Edward Said, by the way. Three names who founded actually post-colonialism: Edward Said, Gayatri Spivak, and Homi Bhabha. Homi Bhabha teaches at Harvard University. Well, Gayatri Spivak, let's only talk about her. an Indian woman, a woman from our part of the world, and she wrote about the custom of sati in India. West horrifies with, well, they have this. Would they burn a woman alive? This kind of system. And she is the one who wrote a beautiful critique on the custom of sati, and that directed the attention of the whole world toward what was happening there. And she wrote that the custom was actually popular among that class of Hindus that are famous for business and trade. And the purpose was because, well, they have different laws of inheritance. It's not like what we have in our culture. So when a man dies, all his property and money goes to his wife. And the custom was made to actually oppress that woman, to not let that happen. That if a man dies, let her woman die with him, so that she doesn't inherit the whole or own the whole property. So she said, she actually brought this beautiful critique of feminism by saying that there is actually capital behind it. The whole issue of this capitalism. So she's a very good critic of capitalism as well. And she says that here we see a complex situation where capitalism actually intervenes into the issue of feminism, and ultimately becomes the woman of woman marginalization. She discussed all of this in her famous essay, Can the Subaltern Speak? This is the title of the essay. I'll write it in the chat box for online students. Huh? You have this, that. Can the subaltern speak? Subaltern are lower class people. They were in Gramsci's, this is Gramsci's term. Antonio Gramsci, वो आर्मी में जो लोअर रैंक के थे, हाँ, subalterns, yes, deprived people, oppressed people, marginalized people. And here she asked this question, can the subaltern speak? And she is famous for her quote there. A quote, when you read, it's just an essay, She wrote, white men are saving brown women from brown men. She is famous for her quote. कि white men आए हैं और वो कह रहे हैं कि अच्छा ये brown woman के साथ ऐसे हो रहा है. And white men are saving brown women from brown men. This is an internationally famous quote by Spivak. And the quote revived again in the wake of Malala Yousafzai incident. Imagine white men are coming from there to save a brown woman from brown men. So she is famous for her quote that she wrote in Can the Subaltern Speak, which is, white men are saving brown women from brown men. So she wrote it ironically, of course, and she is famous for that, Gayatri Spivak. Lastly, let's talk about some Pakistani feminists. I already talked about Rafia Zakaria. She is famous for her book Faith and Feminism, which was published by Routledge. Another famous name is Amina Jamal. I think she teaches somewhere in a university in Canada. You can search her up, Pakistani feminist, Amina Jamal. She has written beautiful papers. Amina Jamal, and lastly, Rifat Hassan. RIFF. Sometimes I have noticed Rifat Hassan's article sometimes appears in Dawn. कभी-कभी उसका article Dawn में आता है, Rifat Hassan. Huh? You have read her? हाँ, Rifat Hassan. She teaches in America, Rifat Hassan. Amina Jamal teaches in Canada. अच्छा, ये पाकिस्तान, ये वो writers हैं जिन्होंने पाकिस्तान के ही context में लिखा है, academic figures. Academia is, I'm not saying this because I am in this field. Academia is fun. Academia is like, they are the ones who do a really, really serious work that has intellectual depth. And they are the ones who make the world a better place. So what we do in our research and what we do in our academic endeavors, that has a value. I'm not talking about the undergrad level, because this is the level where we are learning. Like, of course, you are, like I said, that the purpose of this course was to familiarize you with important names, with important ideas. So I like it. Again, I'm not saying this because I am in academia, but I am saying this generally, that academia matters because they are the ones who make the world a better place. You may have read in books, when scholars write, they write, I argue, I claim, I contend, and then people can argue against them. Scholars, कुछ लोग कहते हैं ग्लोबलाइजेशन के बड़े फायदे हो रहे हैं, कुछ कह रहे हैं फायदे कम है नुकसान ज्यादा है. आर्गू करते नहीं है स्कॉलर्स. अभी कॉन्फ्रेंस में, लाइक आई विल प्रेजेंट इन कॉन्फ्रेंस इन एन आवर एंड हाफ, तो मेरे आर्गूमेंट पे आई विल प्रेजेंट माय आर्गूमेंट, and other people will present their arguments, and then scholars debate. और debate का मकसद ही ये होता है to think about a better world. Adil wrote the name of Ismat Chughtai. Yes, very good name. However, we were exclusively focusing on academic scholars. Like, now, these are the ones, the names that I have mentioned, these are the ones who have actually developed the field of feminism. So feminism के theoretical field की बात कर रहे हैं, और जो academic field, they are the ones who are developing and have developed. All right, this was all for today. From next class, I will begin my last topic for this course. It is culture, resistance, and struggle. Stuart Hall is famous for two things: representation. वुमेन की representation की प्रॉब्लम हमने कर ली है सारा. बेटा आपकी सेशन खत्म हो जाएगा, but that's okay, I have discovered pretty much everything. जेंडर representation के प्रॉब्लम होते हैं, minority representation के प्रॉब्लम होते हैं, रेस में प्रॉब्लम होते हैं, but there is a resistance as well. फिर कल्चर में सही रेजिस्टेंस कैसे आती है? स्टुअर्ट हॉल टॉक्स अबाउट दिस आइडिया. रेजिस्टेंस इज अ रियली गुड idea that Stuart Hall expanded on. Aurat March is an example of resistance, isn't it? Okay? So representation and resistance. Stuart Hall is known for that, and that is all about culture. That is a deeply ingrained in culture. So from next class we will begin representation, not representation, sorry. Yes, resistance, culture, and struggle. This is what we are doing. Resistance through media, resistance in culture. So I told you that Aurat March is an example of resistance. That is something that arose from culture, and that is again something that was disseminated by media. Okay? So this is what we are doing in our next class. Last topic. I will try my best to finish my lectures in this week so that I can save last 2 weeks for revisions. I believe you all will go online from next week.